topic of my presentation was trying to understand aging. How do we age? And there has been several models to understand that process in mice, in flies, in worms, but they are very different. These are animals that are very different to us. And even though we gain some knowledge by studying them, aging in humans is very different. It takes a long time, 80 years compared to a mouse that is just 2 years. And so probably there are many differences there. Now, with this technology of iPS cells or pluripotent cells, we can study aging in vitro. And in particular, we have chosen a model that is these people that age very prematurely. There are these kids that they look like they are old, but they are just kids. And that's because they have a mutation in a gene called lamin A that makes that they age very soon, very quick, and about 12, 13 years old, they die. And they die because of problems of all people. So we can now, with this technology of the pluripotent stem cells, we can try to study this process in a petri dish. More than slowing down aging, which I feel that will be difficult, I'm convinced that a much better approach will be to stop aging. So cells die without going through the aging period. So it is that we live for whatever number of years we live, but without the aging phase. That will be much important, because if you realize we get sick, we get diseases of the heart, of the brain, cancer when we are old. When we are young, normally we don't get that many diseases. So the disease state correlates with aging. So the idea here will be to try to avoid aging, not to expand our lifetime, which I think that will be more difficult. Now, this embryonic stem cell, you need to obtain it from embryos. And these generate ethical problems, because you need to destroy an embryo to get that cell. Now, you're asking me why it's so important these other cell types, induced pluripotent cells. They have been induced to be pluripotent, like the embryonic stem cells, but we don't need to use embryos. That's a major advantage. There is no ethical discussion there. And the other is that if one day we're going to use these cells to put them in a human being, to transplant them in a human, there could be problems of immunocompatibility. So if you put your cells into my body, I may reject them because they are not mine. My immune system may not like your cells. However, if I put my own cells, that's no problem. So these induced pluripotent cells are generated with my own cells, so they can be used to cure myself with no immunological problems.